Okay. Good evening, you guys. Good evening. How's everybody doing? I see Danielle Sampson Parker is in the house. Anybody else out there? We do have a few questions, so I know we'll have a number of people on here. But good evening, you guys. Been doing a lot. I've been personally doing a lot of marketing. Um, I just bought a list. So Keith, I just bought a list from Foreclosures Daily. They're telling me that the pre-probate, and probate lists are really hot. So just bought a list from them. But they have all the courthouse data, which is the best data. And
Right.
so we had a conversation about our VAs this morning, and I think that sometimes we handcuff them because we don't give them the good data. And so, PropStream is good. Those are good lists. But, as you know, because we've been through the training, the predictive data is the best.
Right.
And the courthouse data is the best. So I just bought a list. So we should receive it tomorrow. And so we can get one of those VAs. I forget, is it Joanne that you really like?
Well, her and Angela. Angela's the
Um,
one that we reset her today.
So we can get one of them to start calling with a script, the pre-probate and the probate. The list I can't remember. I'll give you more details tomorrow, Danielle. I know I paid somewhere around $500 for 3 months. So if you could divide that by three, um, for 3 months of um, probate. And so whatever that is divided by three is what I paid. Um, Actually 100 and some. You're not getting a lot of leads per month, but it's really, really good data. And so that's the biggest thing. But they had pre-probate, what they call pre-probate, probate, um, uh, pre-foreclosure. They have um, evictions. So they have a list of evictions. They have code violations, and so they have all of those. And she kind of listed the 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 data which is the best. And so I said, just give me the best. And the um, she said the probate and the pre-probate is are the best list because, and we all know that. We all know that there's more equity in those than any other because, and I can give you the statistics, but most of those are 70% of those are free and clear.
No
So
mortgage.
the list that she's sending me, 70% are free and clear mortgages. And in this day and age where the economy is really slow and interest rates are high, whomever is a personal representative, they're going to want to sell right away. So those are good lists. And so I agreed with her. So I bought that list, but I'll be buying more lists. So I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm trying to get to 10 deals a month as quickly as possible. 10 deals a month. And so I want to start getting that data and some other data, and then doing some inbound and outbound marketing to um, get enough leads coming in, better leads, that we can start closing 10 deals a month. That's the goal. Um, Probably giving us about 6 months to get there. So that's our goal going into the new year. So we're starting out with some new and different marketing now. I think the question is, what's your goal? And so as time goes on this year, the rest of this year, and it's still time to get deals. I mean, I got a couple calls today for some deals. I just got off the call with someone. And so there's still time to close some deals this year, especially wholesale deals. um, and and then just preparing for next year. And so whatever your goals are. One thing I do want to mention, and I'll talk more about it as the year goes on. Another one of my goals is not only to do 10 deals a month, but to increase the profit per deal. And so I definitely want it to be at $30,000. I think I can get it higher. And one of the ways I want to do that is, and again, we'll talk about this at another time. I haven't built it out, is on the wholesale deals. I really want to focus on selling the wholesale deals to a retail buyer, an end buyer, someone that's going to buy the property and live in the property, not a cash buyer. And so I'm exploring that, and I'm looking to do. I've done those before, but I'm looking to do more of those. And so it's a wholesale sort of combined with a subject to, or combined with what's called a novation. And I'll talk about novations at the next Lunch and Learn. But one of my focuses is going to be on the majority of my deals. I want to sell to end buyers. So I want to really kind of cut out the middleman being the cash buyer. And if I can do it, I can cut him out, not have to get a mortgage on the property, maybe fix the property up just a little bit and put it on the MLS, sell to an end buyer. You double your profits. And so really I should be doing more than $30,000 a deal. And to be honest with you, there's people across the country that are doing. That's how I got it. I was on a podcast, and these guys are doing what I just described. And I've done that. I've done that in the past, but I just really called it a subject to. But now people are like investors are wholesaling subject twos to retail buyers. And so that's one thing I will be teaching you guys how to do as I start to do more and more. And I'm playing with my subject to contract to make sure I include all the things that I need to include in there to be safe. And so, so Dana's saying, is that a subject to flip? You could call it that, Dana. Yeah, some people call it that, a subject to flip, but it's more of a mini flip. It's more of a mini flip, and it doesn't work for all properties. I mean, if the property, you just want to bring up the property enough that a retail buyer would want to buy it, maybe even do a subject to. So if the property needs like a total gut, and an end buyer, retail buyer is probably not going to buy it, then you just wholesale that deal. But like in Prince George's County, we don't have like full guts like we do in DC. And so what I'm describing works well like in Prince George's County. But I've had a number of wholesale deals where I just went in. I think Dana, you and I did a wholesale deal, and I think it was in Forest Heights, and we cleaned it up. I believe I trashed it out, got it trashed out, and you did the landscaping or hired someone and we wholesaled it. I don't know if you remember that or not. But we could have wholesaled that one, Dana, once it was cleaned out and the landscaping looking good. We could have cut out that cash buyer and went straight to a retail buyer and suggested to them to do a what's it called, 203K. And honestly, Dana, and got double our money. And on that one that I'm describing, Dana, you did very, very well on that one. You cut me a little short on that one, but you did extremely well. But just imagine doing double what you did on that one. You didn't cut me short. I was happy. Let's see. Is novation like a rehab? No. Or a novation is mainly it's sort of like a wholesale deal, but you're putting the property under contract with the motivated seller. You find a cash buyer, and you move all the rights and responsibilities of your contract onto the new buyer, and that new buyer actually writes a separate contract with the seller. So they have a contract directly with the seller, and you move out of the way for a fee. That's what a novation is. But you can't take those to another level. And so that's one thing that I'm going to start doing moving forward. Not every now and then, but sort of as a practice. And so I'll let you guys know how it's going. You can't partner with an agent, Karen, because an agent's not going to understand what you're doing. So you can't really partner with an agent. Oh, that was Dana. Oh, that was Dana. Now on what I'm describing, you can't really. It works well if you are an agent, but you put in the agreement that you're able to put it on the MLS. And so my subject to contract already has that. I'm just reading the comments. Oh, how do you connect the retail buyer? You connect them through the MLS. So you're going to clean that property up, and everything is transparent. You're going the seller knows what you're doing. You're going to clean that property up, and then you're going to put it on the MLS. And these work perfect, guys. Here's the other thing, and we'll move on. These work perfect for deals that the numbers really don't work. Like the numbers are tight, the numbers are real tight, doesn't fit the Mayo formula. Now we have another option. Now we can still, let's just say we buy at 70% minus repair costs. Let's say the numbers are 75 or even 80%. Now, with what I'm talking about, we can go ahead and do 80%, or no one can ever outbid us. So we can buy a little higher, cut out the cash buyer, and go straight to the retail buyer. And then not only do our numbers work, our number works doubly better because we're cutting out 30%. So if 70% of the after repair value minus repair costs, if we cut out that 30%, that we're leaving a cushion for that cash buyer so that they can renovate the property and make a profit. If we don't have to do that, now our numbers could be better. Not only can we buy better, we'll make more money. So we'll be doing those. I'll be teaching that and doing that. I've got a couple opportunities on the table now where the numbers are tight, and I was like, no problem, I'll buy it. And so hopefully in another day or two, I'll be putting some properties, and I'll have you guys tag along.
That's exciting.
Yeah, we're gonna make some money in the new year. Starting now and into the new year, we're gonna make some money.
That's exciting.
And so, but here's the thing, you guys. If you guys have a property and you think the numbers are tight, just bring it to me, and we'll partner on these. And so, not only will we partner, you'll start to learn what I'm talking about. It's not. I mean, those of you guys, most of you guys on here, done some properties, and so everything once you do one or two, you'll be easy. But I'm happy to put all the numbers together, all the contracts. Obviously, I have agents that can put it on the MLS, and we can just, you find the deals. I'll put the deals together, and I'm happy to partner with you guys. I'll even put up the money. I'll get to you, Tamika, with that Kennedy Street. I'll put up, because it takes just a little bit of, like Dana and I did on one property, just a little bit of cleanup. So I'll put the money up for that. And when I say split the profits, is after the expenses are paid. Now, Kennedy Street, I'll call you tomorrow, Kennedy Avenue, Tamika. Kennedy is rough, man. Kennedy is no joke. I'll call you. But the good news is I put it on Investor Lift, and I've got 3 investors interested. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens on that one, Tamika. But that was no joke, man. I was like, what?
Is it Northwest?
Heck no. It's in like the worst part of 21218 in Baltimore.
Oh, okay.
Like she
Oh,
said 21218. I'm thinking Waverly, I'm thinking Charles Village. Man, I pull up to that property. I was like, oh my goodness. Like rough. You talking like rough with like a lot of R's in rough. Man, that thing was rough. So what came to mind was Tamika just don't care about me. She just don't care about my livelihood. It was not safe. All right, what you got, Keith? Talk to me.
4 questions. Let's see here. Jade wants to know, are there requirements, Greg, to hardwire smoke alarms in Baltimore?
I don't think so. I mean, as long as they're working, but I don't think they have to be hardwired.
Okay. Here's another
So
Baltimore.
I would say the answer is no.
No.
When there's an inspection, the inspector is just going to make sure that it's there, and they're going to go out and hit the button and make sure it's working.
Right. Greg, is it worth it to pursue tax liens? Your opinion in this current market or whatever?
I'm sorry. Is it worth buying tax liens?
No. Is it worth it to pursue properties with tax liens?
I would say yes. Is it worth it to pursue tax liens? Yes. But in my opinion, the way to pursue them is to try to contact the seller before the auction.
Mm-hmm.
So don't let it go to auction, because now the price can get bid up. You want to try to get the list and then go straight to the homeowner and see if you can work out a deal with them. And a lot of what I just described earlier would work for them. But I've bought plenty of properties over the years I've purchased, but I've done it before the auction. You can actually do it after the auction because you're going to have to pay more fees. But after the auction, they have a 6-month redemption period.
Yeah.
So you can also buy them during the redemption period. Just pay a little more. But it's better to get them before the auction.
Okay, moving on. So, Greg, let's go back to Baltimore. When wholesaling in Baltimore, what should the ARV be for a property when the cash buyer is all in at 120K?
The cash buyer is all in at 120K.
Right.
I would say 240,000. Well, let me just do the math. 240. Yeah, 240.
240. Okay.
Wait. I'm sorry. Ask that question. The cash buyer is all in at what?
At 120. So the question is, what should the ARV? I was going to say, what should the ARV be so that the cash buyer is all in at 120K?
240.
You got that, Karen?
Dana said 240. Look at Dana.
Greg, would the ARV be higher for multifamily properties?
It just depends. So multifamily properties are income producing properties. So it just depends on the income that's coming in. So we don't, if it's 5 units or more, or even 4 units, but definitely 5 units or more, we don't use the Mayo formula. We use what's called the cap rate. And so it just depends on the income or the potential income, because you can force you can force appreciation. You can fix the properties up and get more rent and make that building worth more. So it just depends on the potential of the units and if there's any income coming in, and then the potential, and then what the expenses are for the building as well. So those, you take those numbers, and that's how you get the cap rate.
Very good. Thanks. That was Karen's questions, the last two, and yeah, those are all the questions, Greg, that I have for tonight.
All right. Any other questions, you guys? Any other questions? I think the moral of the story of what I was saying is, let's not pass up any deals. I talked to somebody today, and they were telling me about a deal. They said they're going to walk on the deal because the numbers don't work. They did the Mayo formula, numbers don't work. I said, no, let's just take a look at it. We can get creative. We can use some creative financing. As long as the seller is a willing participant, we can almost buy anything. As long as there's just a little equity, we can do anything. And then there's people across the country, some people in my mastermind, that if the interest rates are low on some of these properties, even if there's no equity whatsoever, they will still buy the property. They'll still buy it. As long as they can break even, they'll buy it. Break even on the cash flow, they'll buy it. And so they just want to acquire real estate using little to none of their own money in an area that's going to appreciate. That's what they're looking for. As long as they don't have to put any of their own money into the deal, meaning keeping the mortgage on the property. And again, the seller's got to be a willing participant, but that's an example of a subject too. And so, they're just looking, to acquire properties. And they look at their cash on cash return. And if they're not putting up any of their own cash, they feel like, the longer they hold on to the property, the numbers will get better, and it's a huge win. And so the question is, the answer is yes, but if 6 months is the right of redemption period, is tax lien a great way to acquire properties for novation? Absolutely. Absolutely. Any property, to be honest, but yeah, absolutely. You can use novations. If the numbers work, you can just do a straight buy and hold or wholesale. But it's better if you could fix it up just a little bit, or sometimes not at all, because sometimes they show well, like the one that you bought, Dana, in Marshall Heights. You had very little to do with that one. I think you just paint it, and I don't even know if it needed paint. But properties like that, yeah, creative financing. So that's one thing that I want to leave you guys with tonight. We are going to use a lot of creative financing in the coming months to acquire properties. We are not going to use our own money. We're going to use the seller. Meeting with the guy tomorrow. I want him to be our private lender. So if you guys need, let's just say, less than $50,000 as gap money or bridge money, I'm trying to get him in a position to be our private lender for like gap money. Now the interest rate's going to be high, but you'll get that gap money you need to do some of these projects, even like some of these subject twos and things where we're going to acquire the properties and hold them, or acquire the properties and do what some people would call a micro flip or a micro subject to, where we're going to put just a little bit of money into it to clean it up real good so we can put it on the MLS. If you don't have the money for that, I'm going to see if he can finance that short term. Now, again, interest rate's going to be a little high, but you look at that as he's going to be your partner and put you in a position where you can acquire the property. And who cares? You acquired the property, you pay him whatever, $5,000 plus his money back, and you made 20. Who cares? You got through that deal, and you didn't have to let that one go, or even sell it to a cash buyer because you didn't have the money. I'm not sure right now, Dana, what the interest rates would be. I would imagine somewhere between 10 and 15%, like a straight 10 or 15%, not amortized, like 10% for 90 days or 15% for something like that. Which is if you guys do the math, I mean, who cares? You are able to acquire a property or flip a property or do a subject to, so who cares? Just until you're able to, put up the money yourself. All right, I think that's it, Keith. 50,000 is not high. 5,000 not high to make it happen. Absolutely. And it's just temporary. Just get through a couple deals and then you'll have the money yourself. All right, you guys, start reading up on creative financing. Start reading up on novations. We're going to do those. You guys know I've been talking subject twos as long as you guys have known me. Combining different strategies together is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be partnering on deals to make it happen. That's what they do in the real world, you guys. We're not being selfish. We're just getting through deals, and we're getting them, and we're making our money, and we're moving on. And so being part of this mastermind has really opened my eyes to a lot of things, what people are doing across the country. I think you guys know I was in Tampa, Florida, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I went to this convention there with like you guys named somebody, and they were there, all the top investors, coaches, digital marketers, course creators, like you named someone, like, and they were there. So I learned.
Was Hulk Hogan there?
Hulk Hogan was actually there. They brought Hulk Hogan there for a photo op with everybody. But like Robert Kiyosaki, his wife was there. Robert Allen was there. Ron LeGrand was there. I don't know if you guys know people like Jamil and Pace Morby and all these guys. Of course, Brad Chandler got from Express Home Buyers. And actually, what's the guy also local? Sherman Ragland, he was there. Like you guys name it, like it was like a who's who to make me think like, dang, what am I doing here? What am I doing amongst these people? But it was good. It was good. I'll be, so we're all in the same mastermind. I'll be bringing some of those people here to do some conferences with us, some boot camps and things like that. We'll be having some specialty boot camps in the new year. We started planning that today. So I'll be bringing some of those guys here to talk about it. Brad's cool. Dana, leave Brad Chandler alone. He's cool. He's a new man now. He's changed. All right, that's all I got, Keith.
Okay.
Right at 30.
Thank you, guys.
If you guys have any questions or want me to look at any deals in the new year, all I want to do is just vet deals. Just put deals together. Like, let's use our minds and figure out how we can creatively do, especially these tough deals, these deals that don't look like they're deals. Like, let's do them. And of course the easy ones too, but let's make some money, and let's not let any deal go by. If someone calls you and says they want to sell their house, ARV on the house is 400, but they owe 300. So by our standards, that's not a deal. We can make that a deal. At 400, we should be buying around 200, but they owe 300. No, we're gonna make that out. We're gonna work that out. We're gonna work it out. We're gonna make it work. And not only are we gonna make it work, we're gonna make more money on that deal than we would have traditionally if the numbers did work. All right, you guys. That's all I got. Take care. God bless, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Good night.
Good night, guys.